friends. Today we are going to talk about why it is valuable to estimate to find your quotient and how that helps you figure out if your exact answer is reasonable or not reasonable. In the video that you watched on Envisions, you learned two methods to help you estimate a quotient. One method is rounding to the nearest 10 or 100, or any place really, but in the video they focus on tens and hundreds. And then the other method that they talked about is finding compatible numbers, meaning numbers that are part of the same fact family. So when you're thinking about that, think about the problems that we did for our bell ringers where we talked about fact families. Those are compatible numbers. I always encourage you when you're doing your practice pages to circle or highlight or underline the directions. Ask yourself what the assignment is asking you to do. Sometimes one set of directions will have 1, 2, or even 3 things that you need to do in order to satisfy the requirements of the assignment. So in this case, you need to first estimate each quotient, and then second, tell which method you used. So for each one of these methods, you should write either rounding or compatible numbers to tell me which method you used. Let's start with 195 divided by 4. We're going to take our dividend, 195, and round it first to the nearest 100. 200 divided by 4 is easy for me to do in my head, mainly because I know what 100 divided by 4 is really easily just from working with money. Like there's 4 quarters in a dollar, right? So 100 cents divided into 4 equal groups would give me 25 cents in each group. Then I can extend that reasoning and say, well, if there's 25 cents in each groups, then when I take 200 cents divided into 4 equal pieces, I'm going to have 50 in each group. So in the first spot, I'm going to put my estimate, which is 50, and then in the second spot, I'm going to put rounding. That's the strategy I used. Now really, you could also write compatible numbers for this and still be correct. Compatible numbers, because 20 divided by 4 equals 5 is part of a fact family that would help you then know that 200 divided by 4 must be 50. So you could really write either. Next, let's look at 283 divided by 5. We're either going to round this. We could round to the nearest 10 or the nearest 100. If we rounded it to the nearest 10, we would round it to 280 divided by 5, but I don't think that's super easy to do mentally. If we rounded it to the nearest 100, we would do 300 divided by 5, and I think I could do that pretty easily in my head. 300 divided by 5 would give me 60. Rounding. And again, just like the last problem, you could also say that that's compatible numbers because 30 divided by 5 equals 6. That's a fact family that you probably are familiar with, and then you would just extend that reasoning to know that 300 divided by 5 is 60. Next, we're going to work on 766 divided by 8. Now for this one, I want to think about some compatible numbers. So let's think about fact families with our 8s. 8 times 6 is 48. I want to try to get up close to these digits. 8 times 7 is 56. 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times 9 is 72. And 8 times 10 is 80. So it's going to be one of these two. If I use my understanding that 8 times 9 equals 72, then that would tell me that 8 times 90 would give me 720, which is pretty close to 766. So I could say that 720 divided by 8 equals 90. That's my estimate, and I used compatible numbers. I could also say that 800 divided by 8 equals 100. And so then I have kind of a range, right? I could say that my answer is going to be somewhere between 90 and 100. And I know that this estimate is a little too low and this estimate is a little too high. And my exact answer is going to be somewhere in between those two. Remember that when I'm grading your work, I'm going to be looking for a record of your thinking. So I want to see this type of handwritten notation written so that I understand which compatible groups of numbers you were thinking about when you made your estimate. Next, we're going to work on one of my favorite types of division problems, which is one where our divisor is 2. Dividing things in half always seems easier to me, just because we work with dividing things into 2 equal groups a lot in real life. So we're going to take 179 divided by 2, and I'm going to round it to the nearest 10, 180 divided by 2. Then I'm going to use my fact families to help me. So really I'm using rounding and compatible numbers here. I know that 18 divided by 2 is 9, and that tells me that 180 divided by 2 must be 90. Remember, you want your zeros on both sides of the equal sign to match. I have 1 0 on this side of my equal sign, so I must also have 1 0 over here. So my estimate is 90, and I used rounding and compatible numbers to help me. And I have a record of my thinking here. Our next problem is about money, and a lot of people find these problems easier to work with because there's kind of a story behind it that helps us determine if our answer makes sense. If we round $395.20 to simply 300, well, that one would round to 400, wouldn't it? That would be the nearest 10. Okay, so if we rounded this to $400 divided by 5, I know that 40 divided by 5 is 8, so that tells me that 400 divided by 5 must be 80. So my estimate is $80. Don't forget your money sign. If it's money, you must include the money sign. Money sign, money sign. And my strategy was rounding and compatible numbers. It seems like I'm using both for all of these. The rounding helps my brain identify the compatible numbers. I guess that's how I'm doing it. Okay, I'm going to let you work on these on your own, and then I'm going to go over just a couple of these story problems down at the bottom with you. Here we have a story problem, again involving amounts of money. A band played 3 concerts and earned a total of $321. The band earned about the same amount for each concert. Estimate how much the band earned each night. Always pay attention. If the word problem specifically tells you to estimate, then again, you're going to either round or use compatible numbers to figure out an answer that's close to the exact answer. A lot of times, if the problem says estimate and you calculate the exact answer, if it's a test, you're not going to get full credit because you did not actually estimate. So let's take our $321 and divide that by our 3 concerts to figure out how much money about they earned for each concert. So now I'm kind of getting into the groove of thinking about compatible numbers. So I'm going to take 33 divided by 3. I know that's 11, which tells me that 330 divided by 3 is going to be 110. And 330 is pretty close to 321. So I'm going to say that they earned about $110 for each concert. And then I would write that answer in a sentence up here. When you're writing your answer to a question about estimation, it's good to specify that they earned about this amount of money, or you could say they earned approximately $110 each night. That makes it clear to the person grading your work that you understand this is an estimate and not an exact calculation. Okay, for number 10, I'm going to let you work on this one on your own. I'm not going to give you a whole lot of details about this. It's pretty much the same type of thinking strategy that you would use for this one. Number 11, which is the closest estimate for 213 divided by 4? Meaning you have to figure out which of these estimates is going to be closest to the exact answer. For number 12, explain how to estimate 524 divided by 9. They want you to write a sentence that explains the sequence of steps a student could go through in order to get an estimate. First, next, then, and last. And write a sentence after each one that tells your thinking so that, your last sentence will be last, you know that your estimate is blank. But these keywords, first, next, then, and last, they kind of help you just organize your thinking.